Hi everybody, Mrs. Tamita here. This week for art, we are going to be making some beautiful fall leaves, and we're going to be reviewing our warm and cool color schemes while we do it. So let's see if we can remember what warm colors and cool colors are. Let's start with the warm colors. First, let's think of things that make us feel warm. Things maybe like the sun, or maybe a fire. You could say spicy peppers. And then think about what colors you would use to color those things. If you remembered that our warm color group is red, orange, and yellow, you were right. These are our warm colors. And now let's think of our cool colors. What colors would you use to color something like a cold glass of water? Or maybe a night sky? What would you use to color a cold pond? If you remembered that our cool colors are green, blue, and purple, then you were correct. Good job, everybody. And just remember that the warm colors are colors that make us feel warm. So like I said, just imagine coloring a warm sun, a hot fire, or spicy peppers. And these do include shades of the warm colors, like pink, for example, is light red. So pink is a warm color. And same with any different shades of orange, light orange, medium orange, dark orange, they're all warm. Same with any shades of yellow as well. And then those cool colors are those colors that make us feel cool. So I guess more cold would be a better word. But imagine a cold glass of water, or maybe dewy grass when you walk outside in the morning and the sun hasn't gotten rid of the dew on the grass yet. Or a night sky. And again, just like the warm colors, the shades of these colors are all cool. So light green, dark green, light blue, dark blue, light purple, dark purple, it doesn't matter. They're all cool colors. So for our project this week, we are going to be drawing warm fall leaves with a cool background. And I will be showing you how to draw leaves. And I also show you a couple of coloring techniques while we are working. So to begin this artwork, you're going to need a blank piece of paper and something to draw with. I'm using a black crayon, but you can use whatever you have around. The first mark to make is a straight line that's at a little bit of an angle. This is going to be the stem of our first leaf. Then just above the bottom of that line, you will start a new line that curves outwards and ends above the top of your first line. And then you'll just repeat the same step on the other side. Now I'm going to add some short diagonal lines that go up the stem of the leaf and alternate which direction they face. And there is our very first leaf. This second leaf is a little more complicated, so watch closely and feel free to pause or rewind the video as you need. I'm starting with the same kind of line that's on a slant or a diagonal, and I'm adding a wide V shape down towards the bottom, but not right at the bottom. Next, I'll add another smaller V shape a little farther up the stem. Not right at the top, but a little bit down from the top. And now at the end of each of the lines that I've drawn so far, I'm going to add a small rainbow shape. You'll see what that's for in a second. And these aren't touching the ends of my lines. They're a little bit farther out, kind of floating away from my lines. And each of those V shapes I have going on are kind of like the stems for my first leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple short diagonals, just like I did to my first stem. And this last step is going to be where the rainbow shapes come into play. So I'm going to start outlining my leaf, but the outline is going to meet up with that rainbow. And then I'll continue on from the other end of the rainbow and just keep on outlining everything I've drawn. I'm kind of hugging the line, so I'm staying close to it, but I'm not quite touching it. This is creating the edge of our leaf. So you'll just keep on working around, outlining all those small diagonal lines and meeting up with your rainbow ends to create your leaf. And as usual, it does not have to be perfect. Just try your best and have fun while you are creating. So now that we have finished drawing a couple of leaves, we can start coloring. For our leaves, we are going to use our warm colors, which, as you can remember, are red, orange, and yellow. So we'll start with those, and I'm going to show you a kind of a blending technique using crayons. To start, I'm going to pick up my red and just really lightly color around the stem of my first leaf. Once I've done that, I'm going to pick up an orange and I'm going to color again very lightly, overlapping on the red a little bit, but kind of spreading that color out towards the edges of the leaf now. And finally, I will pick up my yellow and fill in any missing spots that I might have, and also overlap onto the orange. This is what we call a gradient or a fading of color. And now I'll do the same thing with my second leaf, but I'm going to start with yellow on top of the stem instead. So I'm just really lightly coloring on top of the stem. And now I'm picking up my orange and overlapping on top of that yellow a little bit, and also spreading the color out closer to the edge of my leaf. And finally, I'm going to use my red to fill in any white spots towards the edges of my leaf. And also I can overlap on top of my orange to really make the color look like it's fading from one to the next. And I think all my colors look a little bit light. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back over all of them a little bit darker to make the color pop a bit more. And now that I'm done coloring my warm leaves with a blending technique, I will start on my cool background using blue, green, and purple. For this, I'm going to use a technique called cross-hatching. What I'm doing right now with the blue is just called hatching because I'm drawing diagonal lines going in one direction. It becomes cross-hatching once you add diagonal lines going in another direction. For this, you just layer colors on top of each other to fill your background up. And it's important to remember that your background doesn't necessarily have to be an actual place. A background can just be a design behind whatever you've drawn. So I will just continue making my cross-hatched background by layering all my cool colors on top of each other in diagonal lines going opposite directions. And here is my completed artwork with my warm leaves and cool background. Have fun, everybody!